It's 3-0 to the Arsenal. It's another clean sheet. It looked as if we were going to concede, but we keep another clean sheet. It's another comfortable victory. It's another good performance individually and as a team. And it's another Champions League win that sees us go top of not just the Premier League now, but the Champions League. And my goodness, there is so much to talk about. Right now, we are seeing an Arsenal that we all believe in. We're seeing an Arsenal that we trust. We're seeing an Arsenal that we're confident in. And really and truly, it is that defence that gives us that faith. But going forward tonight, we were very, very good. We need to talk on Mikel Merino. We need to talk on Bukayo Saka. We need to talk on Trossard. We need to talk on Norgard and Declan Rice. We definitely need to talk on our back four. And we definitely need to talk on our substitutes, and some in particular that have broken records tonight. Big up everybody that's here. Make sure you've hit like and you've hit subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed to Football's 12th Man. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit notification bell as well and hit like on this one. Make sure you're following OK Jerseys and Match Bingo, which is in the description. Both of those are the sponsors for 12th Man, so make sure you're following both of those. And we are going to start with a striker that looks like our best striker right now, and it is actually our attacking midfielder. Mikel Merino right now looks to be Arsenal's best striker. We have to talk on it. He does look to be the one who's performing when Havertz ain't there, who's performing now when Gyökeres isn't there. The guy just scores. And I've got to be honest with you. I spoke to Sam earlier and he made a good point. He is the most bizarre, confusing player because I don't quite know where he's best. I don't quite know where he's supposed to be playing. But all I do know is that when you play him up top, he delivers. And he did that in the Champions League last year. He's doing it in the Champions League this year. He has scored in Premier League games this season, most recently against Newcastle. He is a threat in the air. He uses his attributes very well in that striker role. And I want him winning headers in the box, not in the centre circle. So when he does drop into midfield, like we saw against Brighton the other night in the Carabao Cup, he kind of goes missing a bit, little bit invisible, does a job. Maybe you'd forget or not know what he does when he's out of the side, and you forget how much he brings to the side when he's not in it. But for me, when I look at what Mikel Merino is doing up top, I think he's outperforming Havertz and Gyökeres so far in this Champions League competition, because what he's done tonight in that position has made us not miss Kai Havertz or Victor Gyökeres. Now, I'm a fan of Victor Gyökeres and I still believe he'll come good. He's obviously scored 6 or 7 goals now, is it? With pre-season and the Premier League goals and Champions League goals combined. Mikel Merino, I think, has got 4 or 5. Last season, Mikel Merino had around about 9 goals. And in that position, he came in and everybody raised their eyebrows and thought, we don't want Marouane Fellaini up front. I was one of those. Then I saw him score 2 goals against Leicester, I think it was last season in the Premier League, and thought, he ain't a bad finisher. And then, of course, the PSG, Real Madrid Champions League situation happens, and I'm holding my hands up going, yeah, let's just play him up front because he's better. He scores goals for Spain. In fact, I think he got a hat-trick not too long ago. Mikel Merino is a threat in front of goal. He's a goal threat. He's a good finisher, good with his head, good in the air, got attributes that I like in terms of a physical kind of side, like a presence that he has up front. A lot of the time, the ball goes into him. He links up play well. I think he brings the best out of both of our wingers. And I think last season, Martinelli and Saka started to play well, particularly in that game in the Bernabeu, where our front three were excellent. I think Mikel Merino deserves a hell of a lot of credit in that position. I'm not so sure that he's the Declan Rice replacement if he was to get injured. I don't think he's got that box-to-box movement like Declan Rice has. And if Rice was to get an injury or was to need a rest or come off, I'd rather play Miles Lewis-Skelly in that position than I would Mikel Merino. But having said that, Mikel Merino, I think, is just as good, if not better, up front. I said I thought he was better than Havertz last season on the back end of the season when he was playing there. I thought he was an upgrade on Kai Havertz because he was a better finisher and did everything that Kai Havertz did off the ball. I think he's definitely better than Kai Havertz and Victor Gyökeres in the air. I don't think there's any competition there. We need to start talking about how good Mikel Merino has been for us in the air. We need to start talking about what he's delivering when he's there in place of Victor Gyökeres and Kai Havertz. Because I don't look at the three of them, right, and see a huge level of quality out of all three of them. I don't think Kai Havertz, Victor Gyökeres and Merino, if you was to look at 10 games each, you'd probably just go along with Victor Gyökeres on form because of all the goals he scored for Sporting Lisbon. But for Arsenal right now, if you take the last 5 games that Havertz, Merino, and Gyökeres have played in that position, I don't think there's actually another a kind of player that it sits out in front. I really don't. Not by performance. You can look at stats and you can look at analytics and say that this is why he's better than him because this XG is that you can do all that. But just use the eye test on all 3 of our strikers that have played up front for us in the last 12 months. Havertz, Gyökeres, and Merino. I think they've all been pretty good. I don't think any of them have been outstanding. I don't think any of them have been next level. I don't think any of them have been criminal. But let's be real, they're all a similar level. And that's big up to Merino, who's not really a striker. But right now is putting in performances that, let's be real, Kai Havertz and Gyökeres would be fairly proud of tonight. So I think he deserves a mention. I really do. Let's come to Bukayo Saka tonight, because I thought he was outstanding. Bukayo has games where you look at him at the weekend, you're not too sure he had the best of games against Burnley. And then he comes on and does brilliant things tonight when he starts. I thought he was excellent. He's by far our biggest threat going forward. He's by far the one that the opposition look at. And I thought he was excellent tonight. I thought he had a very, very good game. And every time he got the ball, was looking for something to happen. The only thing he did that was a little bit negative was take a free kick that nearly hit the corner flag. That was about all he did, really. That was negative. Everything else was good going forward. I thought he was very positive. So Saka deserves a mention. I've got to mention that right-hand side while I'm on Saka. Timber, another good performance. Starting to see that relationship build now. I think we're starting to see Saka and Timber form a relationship that's quite telepathic and is kind of similar to what Ben White and Saka were forming in terms of Ben White kind of overlapping at times over the etc. I'm a huge fan of what I'm kind of seeing with that kind of combination down the right-hand side. I think our right-hand side has always been fairly strong, and I think it will get stronger as these two start to link up. So Timber deserves a mention tonight because his drive on the ball and the confidence he's now got in the attacking mindset has definitely improved upon last season, in my opinion. When I already thought he was excellent, one of our players of the season, but certainly Timber deserves a mention. I thought he was very, very good again tonight. We go into our back line, including our goalkeeper. Raya got pretty lucky with one of them, actually. I think he took a little bit too long towards the end there. The striker nicked it, and he managed to get his feet in place to clear the ball. But he's got to be a bit careful there. I think he got a bit too casual, a bit too cocky. Thought he had too much time on his hands. But then you look at what happened with the centre-back pairing again tonight. I thought both of them were monstrous, mate. I thought they were absolutely monstrous. I thought Saliba was calm and composed and collected. And I was actually quite sort of surprised to see both of them play again tonight. But look, another clean sheet. They both worked hard. They both were in sync with each other. Gabriel was an absolute monster. I thought he was brilliant again. Defensively, more so tonight from the offensive point of view. We've seen him from corners. He was there or thereabouts, and he was getting his body in the way for it. But certainly for me, defensively tonight, Gabriel was very, very good. And I thought, to be fair, for the first maybe half hour, Arsenal needed to be defensively good because Prague actually played pretty well in the first half hour of the game, I thought. Until the first goal we'd scored, I thought it was actually quite an interesting game for Prague. I was quite surprised at how good they were in the first sort of 20 to half hour. Let's talk about Nketiah because he started tonight, and I've been very impressed with Nketiah since I've seen him. I saw him for a few minutes, then he got injured. I thought not really seen enough of him yet. Then he played against Brighton, and I was very impressed with how good he was in terms of his defensive aggressiveness. I thought he was very comfortable on the ball tonight, and you can see he's trying to settle in. There's a couple of passes that went a little bit wayward, but I do think that he is someone who's settling in and looks very good. I think he looks calm and composed and comfortable. And I was listening to Owen Hargreaves, who obviously listens and watches quite a lot of the Bundesliga, and he was saying how great of a signing this is for Arsenal. So I'm really interested to see what he's about in Nketiah tonight. We move into midfield, and it's actually a player that I wanted to pick up tonight who I've not been massively impressed with so far. And that's Norgard. I thought he was comfortable tonight. I thought he played very well. I was very impressed with his calmness and composure on the ball. I thought he was a lot better on the ball tonight. I think off the ball is no denying he's a good player, but on the ball, I think he slowed it down and was sloppy in the last previous couple of games. But actually, when I looked at his performance tonight, I was actually very impressed. I don't know why he got booked, by the way, in the second half. I can't understand how you can get fouled and sandwiched by two of the opposing players and then go and get a yellow card yourself. I just don't understand that at all. It makes no sense to me, that one. So that one was a definite interesting performance from him, but I was very, very impressed with him. Declan Rice is just an engine, isn't he? I mean, the guy's a machine. And I was actually a bit frustrated that we saw him still on the pitch in 80 minutes. Not for the fact that obviously the yellow card could have been a scenario for him where he misses the Bayern Munich game. And I didn't want him to get suspended. But also, he's played so much football. I think there was a stat saying he's pretty much played every single game so far this season for Arsenal. There's nobody else that can do what he does. We really cannot afford to lose this guy or get him injured. He's the one player that I would say keep fit for the whole season, please. I'd rather we lost Saliba, Gabriel, or Saka ahead of Declan Rice, because at least I know we've got players that can cover that position that are kind of similar in attributes. We've seen in Capier, we've seen Calafiori, and we've seen Mosquera that can all come in for a game or two. We've seen Madueke that can come in for a game or two. We've seen Eza that can come in. If I'm honest, I don't think we've got anybody, if I'm honest, that can do what Declan Rice does. I've got to be honest, I really don't think we've got anybody. Lewis-Skelly's the one who gets close in terms of athleticism and that kind of piston of an engine, that machine gun down, the end that we need. I don't think there's anyone that we've got like that. You know, certainly not Merino. Ethan, I don't know that can play that role yet. I think Eza as well. I think they're definitely more attacking minded. So we have to mention them. Let's go to both of those two. I thought they were two of the quietest players on the pitch actually tonight. Ethan Nwaneri and Eza. Big fan of both of these lads, but I don't think either of them really took the game by the scruff of the neck. I don't think any of them got the ball enough. I don't think they drove on the ball enough. I don't think they created enough. And I don't think that they really had an individual performance to be proud of. But look, I think they're coming back into the games. I think they're starting to improve, and I think they're starting to get match fitness and starting to understand how this game and team plays. So I'm going to give them more time. But in that position, when Ødegaard's out, I need to see a little bit more, just so that I'm okay if Ødegaard was to get injured again. I don't want to have that doubt in my mind that Areze and Nwaneri as creative as Martin Ødegaard. And the answer at the moment, I think, is probably no, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, it's going to be interesting for me. Very interesting, because right now, I think we had tonight probably the most balanced and well-worked front three that we've had in a while. And I would not pick this three as the best front three, people. Trust me. But I felt all three of them worked well tonight. Saka, I've mentioned him, deserved a mention. Trossard, for that second, I thought it was a great finish from Marino. Another assistant at Marino got the... what's happening to my Wi-Fi? Am I back? Should be back. Yeah, I think I went blank on my screen for a minute. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. And that front three worked. I was massively impressed. Massively impressed. I should be back now, Ash. Let me know if I am back, please. It looks like my Wi-Fi is mucking around for some reason. I don't quite know why that is, but there we go. It's okay now. Good stuff. So yeah, front three, good, happy. And if I'm honest with you, a very comfortable performance. And we cannot bow out without talking about Max Dowman. The subs tonight were excellent, by the way, when they come on. I've got to be honest. I look at the substitutes bench and I just think, wow, we're not actually weakening the side anymore. You know, the bench tonight, we could have had Mosquera or Calafiori coming on at the back. We had Lewis-Skelly and Ben White, who both come on. By the way, on Ben White, that's never a penalty. I mean, both their feet are at the same height. And it's actually him who handballs it, not White. So I don't know what the referee was doing there. He booked Norgard for no reason. And he obviously got the penalty, which was overturned. So he got that wrong. And Lewis-Skelly and Ben White are fine when they come on. Eberet Sheza, I've mentioned. Harriman and Oos getting another shout. And I actually thought he looked all right when he came on. I wasn't so sure that he was ready when he played Brighton. But I actually thought he was okay. When he came on, he made himself involved in the game. But Max Dowman, got to start talking about this lad. Max Dowman is an unbelievable talent, and he glides past players like they're not there. All you can do is foul this guy. You know when Jack Wilshere and Jack Grealish come onto the scene and everyone just kicked them because they couldn't get near him. That's what they're going to do to Max Dowman. And I can appreciate and understand why Martin Keown is getting worried about him getting potentially injured, but it's an absolute compliment because you can't get near the guy, so you've just literally got to kick him. I was massively impressed with Max Dowman again tonight. And I know people are going to say, what did he do? No goals, no assists, all these rival fans. But this kid is 15 and he broke the record tonight. He made history. The youngest Champions League player in history to make an appearance. 15 years old. I never expected to see enough of this much of Max Dowman. I thought we might have seen glimpses. Maybe he'd come on for a couple of Carabao Cup games. That'd be it. He's getting involved in everything. The whole of pre-season, majority of the first handful of games, the Carabao Cup, now the Champions League games. This is brilliant for him. Absolutely outstanding. Do not underestimate, I can't stress this enough, the experience that would have given him. Being around that first team, going to Prague, going away, making your Champions League debut away, history, youngest ever player in the Champions League. It's outstanding. Outstanding talent. He's fearless. He's confident. He believes he's good enough. And I see something tonight, and I cannot state how much of a compliment this is to give to a 15-year-old kid. Declan Rice has the ball. There's an option to go safe out on the left, or there's an option to go right, which is a little bit more risky. Now, if I was to say to you, which way you going? Everyone would say, go left, keep it simple. You're 3-0 up. Let's just keep it chill. Don't want to concede. He goes to the right. Max Dowman's got a player on him. And he just gives him the ball. And Max Dowman takes the ball, flicks it around him, and then passes it back into Timber. Or was it Ben White? It might have been back then. I'm thinking, that is serious confidence that Declan Rice has got in you. Serious confidence. So what does this mean? Well, it means we're 12 points out of 12. We're top of the league. We're top of the Premier League. We're in the Champions League position right now, which doesn't mean we have to go and absolutely spank Bayern Munich. We've taken pressure off of that game, which is very good. I want to win it. I think we will win it. But I will say this, we don't have to now. We're in a position where we're on point right now to be comfortably qualifying for the top 8, which is what we want to do. But I've got to be honest with you when I say this. I think it's a position right now where we have so much potential going into these games because of our defense. The defense gives us a chance of winning games. Because as long as we're doing what's right up front, and we can get better, we can look more free-flowing, we can score more from open play, we can't be a team that relies just solely on set pieces. I hear all that. But at the moment, I don't think that we are. I think there's been a little bit over the top with that. But defensively, there's no one that can say anything. We're elite. We keep clean sheets. We haven't conceded a goal in the Champions League. I think we're plus 11 goal difference. It's outstanding, people. Outstanding. 4 against Atletico Madrid, 3 tonight, 2 against Olympiacos, 2 against Athletic Bilbao. We're in a very good position in the Champions League. And right now, we're going to places with confidence. We're not going away thinking, tricky, travel, away ground, hostile atmosphere. They're just taking it in their stride, these players. And the squad depth is there now. We've still got Havertz out, Jesus out, Madueke out, Erdegaard out, now Gyökeres out. There's 5 players that would all be seen as fairly key to our squad and fairly key to an department or an area of the squad, which is an attacking format. And all of them are out. They're all yet to come back. And I think after the international break, we might even see Havertz, we might see Erdegaard, we might see Gyökeres. We need to, because for me, I've got to be honest, it's looking very, very comfortable right now. I hope we keep this going. We've got Sunderland and then an international break. We have to beat Sunderland on that Saturday night, because then on the Sunday, we can sit back, relax, and watch Liverpool versus Manchester City and pray that it's a draw and they both drop points. So right now, things are big up to Max Dowman tonight for making history. Big up to Merino for 2 goals in a new position as a striker in that position. My Wi-Fi, by the way, is bad. I do apologise. I don't know what's happened tonight. One of those days. So I think things are good. Things are looking positive right now. So let's keep it going. Let's do a couple of these supers before we get out of here. We have got a new member. We've got Richard who's a new member. And he's gifted... Oh, he's not a new member. He's gifted 10 memberships. Richard, you are a legend, sir. Thank you so, so much. And big up to everyone. Massive W's in the chat for Richard. Make sure we're doing that, please, people. And this Suj is back. Big up to Suj. I hope you're doing well, my bro. Big up Dan in the chat. Hit the likes and subscribe. Merino's the best of the rest. Definitely better than Kai. And what Merino does is use his head better. Aerially, he's so much better than the others. He really is. And I appreciate that Havertz has scored with his head before. And I appreciate that so has Victor Gyökeres. But right now, what I'm seeing from Mikel Merino, it's great from an attacking point of view. Just outstanding. Make sure you hit like on this one. Make sure you hit subscribe. Big up to everyone that's been here. I will see you tomorrow. And yeah, we're out of here. Up the Arsenal. Take care, people.